It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. John Ding is back with you. My final coach for the day, Dalton. I'm going to be off after this, but always proud to have Matt Kriesky here in the building with us. And Matt, I know it's a disappointing loss in terms of the score, but I'm telling you, before we get into the game, I just want to tell you that's probably one of the biggest crowds, if not the biggest crowd I've ever seen at a high school football game, which is a testament not only to Oakland Patriots, but to your program and what you're doing out there at Blackman.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I can't say enough about all the fans that came out last night to support us. It was a great atmosphere, great high school football game. You know, that's what Rutherford County is about right there. 2 5-0 teams squaring off last night. And so it was good. It was exciting. It's something that the kids will always remember.
I don't know that I've been to a game where the crowd was so fired up at the beginning of a game. In fact, your guys were fired up. I mean, there was some massive hitting, both sides early going in that game.
Yeah, it was a real physical football game, both sides of football. I thought both sides, both teams really got after it, and it was a good game. Of course, unfortunately, we didn't come out on top, but got to give a lot of credit to Oakland. They did a great job, coming out after halftime, making some adjustments and doing things that they need to do to win.
The final score doesn't really indicate how close that game was, because up until about the fourth quarter, that game was still in doubt. Really, I know there was a fumble that hurt, but explain that first half. I think you all had trouble moving the football against them, but the defense was unbelievable. I mean, they held most of the game.
Yeah, the defense did a great job. Got to give our hats off to the defense, and also our special teams. Special teams put us in great field position a couple of times with some kickoff returns. Offensively, that's on me. I put all the blame on me. We did some things. I just don't think some of our kids, we weren't prepared like we needed to be going into, and that's on me. Some of the things we did against them wasn't working effectively, and that falls back on me. I know our kids are going to come back. We're ready to work on Monday, and get ready for Stewart's Creek. But like you said, our defense played well last night. They did an outstanding job. Like you mentioned earlier, Tremel Johnson, he had a great game. Jaden Gowan, one of our linebackers, had an excellent game. Trey Thornton's in secondary. He's played well all year long. Those guys were on the field too long, and they gave us everything that they had. Like you said, it was 7-0 at halftime. So we were still in the game, and we've got to be able to move the ball effectively, and do things. We've got too many guys on offense that can really help us out. That can if we get the ball in space and do what we're supposed to do, to have more success on offense than what we did last night. And again, like I've mentioned, that's on me. I got to get those guys ready and get them better prepared for big games like this.
Oakland, they have some depth at running back. They do play some fresh legs, put some fresh legs in there. That makes it tough if they're on the field too long. And Blackman, you could kind of tell a little bit toward the fourth quarter that they may have run out of gas a little bit, but boy, they still kept fighting.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing our defensive staff does. They instill, man. Those guys are fighters on that side of the ball. They're not going to give up. They gave us everything that they had. They emptied their tank last night. That's what we wanted them to do, and I'm really proud of them and what they did. I'm proud of all our kids. They fought hard. They wanted this game bad. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We got to regroup and get ready for next week for another big region game.
One thing I did notice, the big game, the big crowd, and this is the first time really that this is a 5-0 undefeated teams. The lights weren't too too bright for your guys, though. I don't think they didn't bother them at all.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it did at all. They were ready. They were ready for the task at hand. And just like we mentioned, we made a few mistakes here and there. They really cost us. You can't do that against a good team like Oakland, and a good physical football team. Coach Kriesky does an outstanding job, and that's what we've got to get ready and prepare better as we move forward.
Tramel Johnson, by the way, is our SRM solid performance, SRM Concrete solid performance. He had 6 tackles, one and a half for loss, and that's the kind of defense that you've been wanting them to play. This is kind of a culmination of about 3 years now. So where do you think you're at in terms of where you want them to be?
I think, where we need to be, I think, we've made some strides this year. We just got to, can't get complacent, sitting at 5-1. We've got to be ready for each week. Our goal each week is to be 1-0. We don't want to talk about the past. Let's move forward and prepare. I'm proud of how we are. The big thing I told them last night is how we're going to respond to this. We still have an opportunity, if we do what we're supposed to do, to host a playoff game. And that's been one of our goals this year, is to host a playoff game. So like I mentioned, I have no doubt that these young men are going to come back fired up and ready to work on Monday.
Matt Kriesky is our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Matt, you travel to Stewart's Creek, a road game for you, but get away from the limelight a little bit and go travel. But Stewart's Creek, they've had some issues. They've had some injury problems, but they're well coached too. They're a good team.
Yeah, any team you face in this region is going to be well coached and well coached. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be doing what they're coached to do, fundamentals. So we've got to prepare and be ready. It's a short week, playing on Thursday, so everything's kind of crammed in, and it's a shorter week. So you got to get the guys prepared and ready to go. Like you mentioned, Coach Caudell does an outstanding job. So we know he'll have his guys ready Thursday night to play.
And you mentioned you got to move on, forget about this game. But having a short week, I would think that would help a lot. I mean, you just got to get right into it like tomorrow.
Yeah, and so that's one thing I guess about the short week. You got, like you said, you just move on. It's time to move on. You can't worry about about Friday night, because if you sit there and worry about it, not preparing, not getting better, then it's going to affect you for the next game. So we got to be ready, and it's like you mentioned, every one of these region games is like a playoff game. So it's going to be tough, and it'll be another fun night of football. It'll be a great atmosphere.
I want to quickly talk about Javion because he had some moments last night. There just weren't as many of them as you need, but he is really talented, and he's that other threat running the football too, and not only that, but throwing it as well.
Yeah, Javion, dual threat. He can, once he drops back to pass, he can pull it and run, and that what makes him scary. He did a great job last night trying to execute our game plan and what we were trying to accomplish. And so he's a threat for us. Just proud of what he's done so far in the season, and we know that he's going to keep building on what we're trying to do moving forward.
And I love Bass. I love there's not Bass, but what I'm saying, I've got his name wrong. Kemp.
Yeah, Jabari Kemp.
Yeah, there you go.
Jabari Kemp.
He's a good player.
Yeah, Jabari Kemp, one of our running backs. Him and Micah Nance do a great job splitting the carries. You never hear a word out of either one of them about that. That they both run the ball. They're very physical, hard. And if they get a little crease, they have an opportunity to break it. Jabari did a great job last night for us carrying the football, as well as Micah.
As we travel on, and you mentioned one thing about as we move on. Now you just need to take care of business, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal, one at a time.
Yes, sir. One at a time. 4 more games left. Take care of one at a time, and we want a home playoff game. That's what we've been talking about. That's one of the things that we wanted this year as our goal. And so we've got to forget about Friday night and make improvements and correct our mistakes and get ready for Thursday night.
Was it not great to see all that excitement though?
Yeah, it was.
Crowd. I mean, somebody told me there was probably 2,000 more people than capacity. I don't know if that's true or not, but there were people out in the parking lot, couldn't get in. And I think they had to call extra police to be able to make sure. And this I credit the administration. They had enough people to get those cars and out of there, and they foresaw what might happen there.
Yeah, you can't say enough about our administration, how they got everyone in, and everything was a great environment, good controlled environment. And so they did an outstanding job, and everybody that from our assistant principals to our staff at Blackman did an excellent job, and we really appreciate everything that they did last night to make it a great night.
I know you too, that you probably, you see things and go, there's things we can improve on, but I do know what you have built there. It has been a steady climb each year, and trying to take it the rest of the way here is going to be big for this team.
Yes, sir. Like you I think it's huge. And we got to continue to get better each week. And this week's going to be a little different than the past 5. So I want to see how we react, how we respond. But deep down, I have no doubt that these guys are going to respond great, and they'll be ready to work.
Well, it's always good talking to you, man, and good luck against Stewart's Creek. It's we're over halfway there. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It goes fast, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Matt Kriesky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. He's got things going down at Blackman. This portion of the show brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com.